That turned into like a All right, I'm going to stop. Welcome to the Disobedience Podcast. The thesis here is that the moments where we push back on what's expected of us help shape who we are today. On this episode of the Disobedience Podcast, we have Aimee and Emily, two women who have shaped my personality over the years, having been friends for the past decade. Hello, welcome. This is the Disobedience Podcast. Here today we have Emily tuning in from Santa Monica and Aimee tuning in from some Chicago suburb.
Woodridge, Illinois.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm in West Adams, okay? I'm not in Santa Monica.
So, short story is that we went to high school together and we had a really good time. Well, speak for myself. I had a really good time in high school. But Aimee and Emily have known each other for much longer than I've known them. So I just wanted to quickly let them introduce themselves, what they're up to today, and how they know each other. But I'll pass the mic to Emily.
Howdy, I'm Em, and what do I do? Who do I know?
What do you do now?
Okay, yeah, see, it's the morning. I'm gonna start working a little bit. I work as a production manager at a music studio, and I'm making coffee because I love coffee. And I had an okay time in high school. At the time, I don't know, it was a mixed bag. But Aimee and I liked Visha immediately. The second we saw her, we each were like, ooh, I want to be friends with that person. So,
I was a transplant.
Visha was an instant friend. Aimee took a few years of me begging her to like me.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Over to you, Aim.
Most of my friends, I don't think I liked them for at least 3 years until we became best friends forever. You were the only friend I ever had that I liked right away. I am a professional competitive figure skating coach, and my hours are super random, and I'm trying to get a second job right now in the cocktail industry.
In the cocktail industry?
Yes. Craft cocktail industry.
Wait, so how old were you guys when you met?
I have a pretty strong memory of like a 10-year-old trip to a Quakes game. Minor league baseball. Yeah, like it's like the feeder team for the Angels. Like if you get injured and you need to get rehabilitated, you get to go play on the Quakes for a few months. Yeah, Aimee and I went to a Quakes game, and I don't think she liked me, and I started calling her like every week because I was like,
Lucky for you, I don't remember most of my childhood.
this is my friend now. 909622.
So one theme that we're gonna see is there's gonna be a lot to unpack with the three of us. So we're just gonna talk, but I'll try to like keep notes on things to unpack. But I think just it's funny that Em's making coffee right now because since high school, my earliest memories of this woman, of them is that they love coffee, and there's this local coffee shop called Badass Coffee where...
Oh, yeah.
You bringing these?
Forgot about that.
Just, yeah, that was my drink. Yeah, and that shit was just like pure like sugar to the point that like it didn't even like it tasted like sugar alcohol, like the syrup, like just shit. I would never drink that these days, for the record.
Literally, Badass Coffee has not crossed my mind like in 10 years. I hadn't even thought that thought. Forgot about it.
Anytime I drive past there, because I still live in our high school town versus they both have moved away, And this one coffee shop is so reminiscent of like mornings because we were in this class. Wait, were you guys in morning announcements?
Yeah, we were all in zero period. Mm-hmm.
So we were in zero period, which means we had to be at school at some ridiculous time, like way earlier than we are recording this right now. And I would bike to school, and how did you guys even get to school that early?
My dad gave me a ride with him while he was leaving for work.
I don't have memories.
Let's unpack that for a second.
Probably one of my parents took me if I don't remember.
When do your memories start from now?
19.
Oh, so high school is like fully smoked out, like gone white.
But Em like has a lot of my memories for me, so that'll help. That'll help jog some things.
Em's like the
It's like a shared Google Drive. It's like, oh, hold on, no, I know where to look.
It's always fun learning things about myself, though.
Again, even though you were there.
Yeah, cool.
I think, okay, so one thing I will say is that the high school that I came from was really mean. Like, everyone was super competitive about grades and college, and like, even the dance team that I was on was really crazy. And then when my parents moved to this town and I started going to our high school, everyone's so nice, at least at like the get-go. It just felt like one big family, and my parents specifically let me choose this high school instead of the other one that's like equidistant from my house because of the video production program that we were all in, because the other one didn't have that at the time. Now I think theirs is better and they have way more money. but ours was the first, and like going into the summer there was one meeting, and that's actually where I met these two. There was a meeting for that video production class, and then I got introduced as like the noob. And then when I came out of that meeting, Amy and Em were waiting to get picked up, and then I was just chatting them up on the sidewalk, and that was like the birth of this friendship for me. And the funny thing is, I still have like, not videos of Bare Facts, which was the name of the video production thing that we did, but some random really blurry photos from the Nokia phone that I had back then. And like our little heads are so like adorable, and yeah, it was just a good time.
Was it a flip phone?
It was a slide phone. Do you guys remember those? The keyboard came out? Yeah. Exactly. Texting with 2 thumbs on a full keyboard.
Honestly, I hate my keyboard on my phone right now. I would prefer it to have buttons. That'd be nice.
Because you can't have, like... I mean, I always like having nails. One of the things that I think is interesting when you're young is making friends. I think that's, like, such a big part of going through high school, for example. And anyone who's, like, kind to you, especially on an off day, is just the nicest feeling. Like, you're in the cafeteria, you're a new student at a new school, and you, like, get invited to sit with someone at a table. Like, for them, it might just be, I just asked the weird new girl to sit at the table. But, like, for the person on the receiving end, it's like, I have a place to be, and I belong somewhere. But as an adult, I don't think it's the same. Like, I could care less if someone likes me now.
I never had an experience like yours when I was younger, I think.
Like, you always knew everyone, yeah.
I went to the same school with the same people from kindergarten onward.
Yeah, I was very much like the person who would go and seek out the new person and be like, hi, do you need someone to sit with?
Yeah, Em was always super, super friendly. And I think it was fun also because...
Something to unpack there.
Oh, let's pause. Why was that, Em?
No, but really though, like in the midst of all that, like it is because even though I knew everyone, like it did feel very lonely and made fun of a lot, and so it was always like, you need to extend kindness to people because the world's not always kind. Yeah, I think that's who I used to be. Now I'm a lot more callous. Yeah. World's not kind.
No, it's not.
World's not kind.
Not gonna be.
I'm really nice to people in customer service roles. That's where all my friendliness goes to, and to nobody else.
I just want to bring this up because this really shocked me coming maybe from like a more conservatively spending household, is like when the three of us went out as adults, Em and Aimee would tip so generously to any like service staff member, and it was like across the board. It didn't matter if we were getting breakfast or coffee or we were at like a fancy bar. The tip would always be factored into the budget. And like I think that's just a very telling thing that you guys really appreciate people in the service industry.
Well, all my siblings work in the service industry, and my parents are kind of rude to people in the service industry, so I'm like trying to make up for their
Rudeness.
sins.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom did waitressing for a lot of years, and it was very much just kind of like taught to me like, oh, that's you bake that in. It doesn't matter if they did a good job, you're still gonna tip them.
Oh, I heard.
Kitty cat scream.
My favorite sound.
She went running.
I think I spent a lot of my time trying to be a people pleaser when I was growing up because I kept moving from school to school. So making friends was hard enough as it was. So I've learned how to like mask my personality to the person I'm with, where I only reveal certain parts of myself so that they will like enjoy spending time with me. And then what's happened because of that is that I've kind of lost who I am along the way because I've just become a chameleon to whoever I'm spending time with. And then also, I used to really dislike when there were awkward pauses in banter. So I would just stop talking fully. And I've gotten this feedback as an adult where they're like, you just won't say anything. Like, you just shut down. What happened? We were talking. Because I'll basically, I'll just be like, yeah, this is great. And then hang up.
I think that's fine. There's nothing to be said.
Yeah, there's nothing to be said. I'm okay. I live with that now, but before I'd be like, oh my god, I have to fill space with like every random thought in my head. And I don't get those. Like other people are much better at being like, and this is what's happening today, and like this is what I'm thinking about.
And science. And politics.
Yeah, exactly.
And literature.
Just because they're better at it, is it a skill you need?
That's true. That's true. Actually, this reminds me of like when we went to Vegas and Em was like just shy of the drinking age.
Like literally a couple months, like so bad.
It was exactly 2 months, I swear. It wasn't very much at all. And we were going out and it was just like, it's fine, I'll do yoga in the hotel room.
Hotel room. So sad.
It was so sad. And, like, that shit would scare me if I had gone and, like, on a trip with girlfriends and for whatever reason had to stay back. I would feel so, like, are they talking about me? Like, this is when I was younger, you know? Like, I would just have such a self-doubt situation. But you handled that like a champ.
Thank you. Yeah, I smoked some of Jen's weed that I found in her bag. And I was like, oh, they've put me through enough emotional labor. I've earned this. And yeah, laid around and stretched, worked it out. Yes, I was jealous I didn't go get to experience bottle service night for the bachelorette party.
You know what? If you had...
But I heard it was crazy.
Not only was it crazy, but the folks who frequent Vegas handled it way less than the folks who never go to Vegas.
Wasn't one of the gals like in the bathroom with her pants down, like passed out, like fell asleep on the toilet and the door was shut and we were like trying to get in?
We thought she died.
I think I was asleep by then. I think you guys all experienced this without me.
And we were like, do we tell Aimee that her friend who... See, the thing is... I do
remember how my shirt was gone when I was shirtless. When I went to sleep. I don't know how that happened.
I just remember Em and I being like, oh, like, She did. Like, she's...
It's over. Like,
Uh-oh.
there was like a little window, like a little port window. Like, you had to stand on the bed and to look through it. And there was like a window to look through the bathroom. And so we're looking through, and she's just like passed out on the toilet. Like,
Pants down. And that was the scariest thing, is like, I hadn't seen a fellow classmate slash like grown person with their pants down. And I just felt so bad because the way this person set up their life at Vegas was that they frequented, they're really good at like playing the games, and they're really good with their alcohol, and they were the first one to wipe out, and I just felt so bad. I was like...
And I had literally started drinking at 21. I had literally just started drinking. Ever.
Honestly, you guys remember like in recent years where you felt really terrified to like take a specific risk in your like career or in your love life or anything?
yep, every day.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah, I recently like had to ask for a raise, and I had to ask for it for like an entire year before it happened,
Really?
and that was scary. Yeah, I like had to keep clamoring for it and asking different people and writing business cases for it, and but it happened.
That's actually
scary.
why I didn't get mine, was because I didn't add a business case to it. So it's interesting that you said you had to do that. Like, what was it that you... I mean, you obviously got it now, but when you were going through that, what kept motivating you? Because it's like, you could just get rejected, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like just the, you know, the, putting their own talking points back at them, being like, you all say that you want to grow and you want to involve more freelancers and this, that, the other. Oh, you like, I'm the one, I'm the like stopgate at that. And I can only do so much because I'm only one person. So without more support, I'm not going to be able to accomplish everything that is wanted and needed and expected of me in this task. So anyway, I'm like, because I manage like literally like a dozen people's schedule, and I wasn't I wasn't called a manager, but people are directly reporting to me. So it's like, anyway, it's like
Be fair, you know, treat me how you are already treating me.
And they did.
They did. They're taking care of me. Yeah. So anyway, it's good, and like they're in the business department, they definitely have like a decent amount of turnover, but in like the production team department, like you really have to choose to leave. Like the people who are there, most of them have been there 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm like, oh, great.
You have like
Cool,
a set
'cause I'd
place.
actually-
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
I
So it
think-
seems like my department is like a pretty like solid place, which is cool.
That makes sense. I think like there have been points in my career where consistent income didn't come by so easily because I went from having my own business to like working elsewhere. And it's so hard to plan for the future when you don't know just in your budget of like how much you're going to make that month.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're afraid to make any risky financial obligations like buying a car or a house or whatever it is that you can afford to do.
Even a plane ticket for a trip, because then a trip means all that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What was the scariest part about your most recent employment
Debacle.
experience? Yeah, I was gonna say kerfuffle.
Debacle.
Yeah, it was a debacle for sure. Like, there were a lot of layers.
Yeah, there are layers. It's a whole cronut up in here. Honestly. So for long story short is that I got this job in a different country. It's in Berlin. I hadn't ever lived there before. I've never lived in Europe before. I don't speak German. So I go there, and everything from the get-go was always like, we're so excited you're here. You're going to do great things. And it very quickly, I realized that the market in which companies are being built right now is so on unstable ground because investors aren't investing, banks are collapsing, ideas that people have customers for are collapsing. Like known startups with actual revenue couldn't make it through last year, and they had to lay off like 90% of their staff. So it was kind of a wild thought to think that like a new one would make it, and this was a new company. So I think that the scariest thing wasn't even that I moved to a new country for this company and this like opportunity, but when it didn't work out, I was just kind of like, I don't have something to fall back on. And that was the first time I didn't. Versus before, I would, if I was leaving a job, I would like get another job first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's kind of why I even went and discovered the credentials to my YouTube account, because I was like, I used to do this thing where I made videos.
Good.
And yeah. I realized that like at least it would be one way for me to feel, because like I love video. Like since I was a kid, I loved making video. I loved editing video. Not the best at it, but like with whatever free tools there are, I've been able to do a couple of things. And
I think that is probably the like strong thread of our friendship, truly. Like
honestly,
that is true for Amy, that is true for me. Like we both have been like, you know, Windows Movie Maker since 7th grade. Like, okay, how can we edit together this little Paramore music video? Like Amy, what's been scary?
I had to move rinks in the fall. I didn't have to, I chose to, but I didn't ask anyone ahead of time, like, is it okay if I move to this new rink? Because parents are very, like, particular about driving distances and going to certain rinks and things like that. So I just told everybody, I said, I'm going to this rink in a week. If you're going to follow me, let me know. If you're not, also let me know and I'll help you find a new coach. And literally every single person followed me to the new rink. So
wow.
Yeah. And so I had no idea that was going to happen. I really thought I was going to get like 75% to follow me, and it was literally like 100% of everybody followed me, and they were also happy to leave the other place when I told them all of the problems that were going on there. It was like a toxic environment. You hear about toxic sport environments, just your run-of-the-mill toxicity. Classic elite sport toxicity. So they were happy to leave anyway, and all the kids are less stressed out. So it was a good move, but I just kind of was winging it.
You just jumped it. You're like, I'm just going to spring it on them. A lot of Amy's social media is like children.
Just children.
It's
so
just
many
children performing and winning and doing amazing things. And it's just kind of like, Amy doesn't have her own children, so like it's the best of both worlds. I don't need
my own children. I got substitute children.
Mm-hmm. Amy has 20 children. I have 20 boyfriends. That's just who we are, you know?
Exactly.
I feel like this is let's unpack that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Amy doesn't want a kid. I definitely don't want a kid.
I might adopt one. If I find a partner that I enjoy living life with, I might adopt one kid. But the odds are not looking great for finding a partner.
The outlook is bleak at this time.
I am in the desert, and there's no thing to quench my thirst.
It's all a mirage.
It really is. Sometimes it looks good for a second, and then it just all comes crashing down.
Can you talk about this most recent one? Just like cliff notes.
This most recent one, really, I was a little bit optimistic for a few months, like, I'm going to find a relationship. It's going to be good. And then after this last one, I was like, you know, I don't need a date.
You're just like,
need to happen.
Bye.
He, like, I went on, like, 2 dates with him, and he immediately started, like, treating me like his girlfriend. Like, he wanted me to, like, check in with him every day, and like he wanted to know my work schedule, and he wanted to video chat me like several times, like every day he wanted to video chat me, and he was telling me he missed me. This is a week.
Boy, I don't even know my own work schedule. Like,
telling me he missed me multiple times. And then I didn't answer his text one day, the day before my birthday, and I don't know if that made him mad, and so he never even wished me happy birthday or took me out for dinner, which he said he was going to do for my birthday.
So what did you end up doing?
Well, no, we were going to go the next day, the day
Oh,
after.
okay.
The day of, I had plans with friends, and I was not going to invite him because he was a person that I had only known for 1 week.
Yeah. And mind you, Amy asked him out. Amy, like, asked him out on a date, and then he fumbled the bag so bad.
And it's like, I'm very transparent, like, about mental illness, and so, like, hey, this mentally ill girl I'm dating for 1 week didn't respond to my text. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen a lot, buddy. It's gonna happen a lot. And so he gets so mad that he doesn't even wish me happy birthday. Even if he was like, oh, I don't want to pursue this relationship anymore, you love bombed me for the past week, you can at least say happy birthday, and then the next day be like, I don't really want to pursue this, you know? Like, to not wish me happy birthday after being like basically telling me you love me but without saying those words.
Trying to FaceTime you every day for a week, and then 1 day of non-response means it's over.
Did this person ghost you, or like have you actually said like we're over?
I haven't heard from them since that day before my birthday. I haven't tried to hit them up. I don't
Plan to.
Okay, so this is probably my biggest fear, is like I don't even care about like falling into the ocean. I cannot, with social situations, leave it unsaid.
Oh, I love to leave it unsaid.
There are so many people I tried to start dating in January that, despite fully sleeping with them, I have no contact with anymore, and don't think I will. Like
it's just, you know, it's just like a little mystery that floats around in the air and makes your life a little more.
Like, I hope Horsecock found a nice girlfriend who could handle it, because I couldn't.
I was only referring to this dating partner person as Horsecock. Never by his name.
I don't know why my brain immediately went to BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. He's from Boston. He's a Boston guy. Exactly, yeah. That's why I'm like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Wow, that was a lot. I think for me,
Boyfriends?
Children,
yes, this is why we don't have them yet.
Amy told me she thinks I'm gonna adopt a teenager someday.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're gonna live in a cute-ass LA Spanish-style house with your lovely, amazing boyfriend, and you're gonna meet a kid on the street skateboarding, and they're gonna be like, my parents kicked me out, and you guys are gonna be like,
we're your parents now. Call me Mama Papa.
Yep.
Call me they mommy. Yeah, no, I jokingly threw it out to Alex, and he was like, yeah, I can see that. Like, just an adult who lives in our house with us, who happens to be a 16-year-old.
Yep.
I just see that working out so well, though.
It's so funny that you were so on board with it so quickly, Visha. Like, you were like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, because, like, think about that person would get such...
It's true. I've said so many times, I'm like, I don't want a kid. Like, I don't want a child. But if they've already had the trauma...
Established.
Yeah. If the trauma's already happened to them, oh my God, it's telling us the meeting's gonna end.
Okay, we gotta quickly trauma bond. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so what does trauma bond mean? Like, it's not bonding over your trauma. It is dragging someone through trauma together to force a bond. And I just want people to know that, because they use it wrong all the time.
Oh, it means to go through hardship together, and that's why you guys are friends. Like, I have so many of those. I'd rather be staring into the void. Oh yeah, Stumptown, yeah.
Oh, perfect. I think that's how I'm gonna meet my future partner. We're going to be standing somewhere. We're going to see someone just decapitated right in front of us.
Trauma bond.
Trauma bond.
Can I just put a quick plug for Mexico City? Because people kept telling me when I was... Wait, no, it's positive. It's positive. It's positive. Wait, hold on. I just thought, because when I booked my tickets to Mexico City, so many people were like, you're just going to watch people get decapitated in the street. And people were so negative about it. And then I went, and it was brilliant. And I loved my experience, and it was so culturally rich. And, like, people are super nice.
I've ever heard that goes there loves that place.
It's so beautiful. And, like, and I'm just confused why they have such a... I mean, maybe there are certain instances why in the American news people believe this.
I think there's kidnappings of Americans in Mexico.
But not for people who just stay in the tourist areas, you know? Like, if you're not going out at night, like, way late into the night where it's, like, past bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like, flashing your fancy camera and your dollar bills.
You have brown privilege where they're like, oh, we're not going to mess with her. Like, she's been through enough. Like, right. Like, Amy and I, we're in trouble. We're targets. But, like, having you with us makes us, like, brown passing. Like,
no.
Canceled.
Not in my lifetime.
Okay, hold on. That goes both ways, though. So, like, I took my mom with me to Mexico City, and she kind of just added herself to my trip because everything was already, like, booked, which is fine. And then she didn't realize that all of the food we know in Southern California to be Mexican is, like, Americanized Mexican food.
Mexican-American.
She would go to a restaurant and be like, yes, I would like a side of rice and beans. And they'd be like, okay? Like, we don't have that. This is a fancy restaurant. Beans are for people, you can get it at the store. Like, I don't know what you want from me. And then we would get seafood and stuff, and it would be uncooked because it's, like, fresh, you know, ceviche type stuff.
Mariscos from the sea.
Yeah, exactly.
Mariscos.
So that was a very enlightening experience for her. She's like, I can't believe they don't have burritos. I'm like, that's not a thing.
Burritos? They don't have burritos?
They do, but they're not filled with rice and beans. They're, like, just meat, you know? They're not substantial in any way.
Amy, I'm, like, shocked how little I'm seeing in the background. Aren't you supposed to be the maximalist?
Shut up, I'm poor.
I look like I have mental illness right now. We've got a Christmas tree, a Danny DeVito, a sign that says worry that's fallen. Like, it's not good. And I just thought, you know, like you were asking, like, what scared you as a kid? What was, you know, what made you fearful? So I just wanted to show you my page about things that make me nervous. You can't see it very well here, but so the very first thing that makes me nervous is when I get in trouble because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And then the next 4 items all reference each other. They each say nothing because Jesus is with me. Nothing because Jesus is with me. Oh, I'm not scared of nothing, and here's why, because Jesus is with me. I was, que quiere decir, brainwashed. But yeah, I couldn't even verbalize in my Junie B. Jones journal what fear felt like, because I was so brainwashed to be like, I'm not allowed to be afraid. It's all in God's hands. Yep. So I thought you all would appreciate that.
I do appreciate that.
Afraid of anything?
Why you're not afraid of anything, Amy?
I think that's why. You helped me figure it out just now.
Good.
The only thing I'm afraid of are my parents.
Because Jesus is with me.
Yeah, my parents.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I could verbalize was when I get in trouble because it doesn't feel good. That's the one thing.
Like, I just remember being a kid and, like, you know, as immigrants, you don't have any other family members within airplane mode of, like, your house. So they're not on the continent.
Okay. So this page about when I feel sad and blue. So when I am sad and blue, I cry. And then 2 whole pages, things that make me sad and why. I just drew a question mark over each of them. I was so out of touch with my own feelings. I was like, couldn't tell you what makes me sad or why. No idea. Like, that doesn't mean the kid is happy. If they can't, like, that means that they don't know how to verbalize their sadness. Right, like, I guess I can believe that I was happy, but I know that I was tortured. I know that I was self-editing the narrative the whole time. Like, I remember writing my journals and being like, well, I don't want to, like, say something and then, like, commit it to paper and then, like, make it true and then have, like, a false memory. You know, like, I don't want to look back and think that my parents were worse than they were. Like, I constantly self-editing because I was worried it was going to make it into a reality. Maybe I should talk to a doctor about that.
But also because, like, I remember growing up, I wasn't allowed to be upset for too long. Like, my parents would be like, okay, you're done crying now. Or, like, you're done being mad at us. Or you're done, like, it would have been 2 minutes. And I'm like, no, I'm not actually done. But they would be like, okay, but we have other things to do. So I was like, oh, my feelings just, like, have to disappear now. Okay.
Put them aside. Aimee has no memory.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to have feelings for sure. I remember that. Remember that because I remember, like, a few years ago, I realized that I need to be able to identify certain emotions. Because since you weren't allowed to have emotions growing up, you never identified what they felt like in your body. And if you could identify what they feel like in your body, helps you to regulate them better. Otherwise, you're just, like, feeling all these things all the time, and you're just feeling out of sorts and feeling irregular and feeling crazy, and you can't identify what it is. And so I've been trying to, as an adult, sort out the different feelings and what each of them is. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you hit the nail on the head about emotional regulation, because I feel like as I've grown up, I've realized that the better I'm at maintaining my life is when I'm able to identify, like, oh, I'm not feeling good today, so I have to do 3 more things that will make me feel better, if I can, if it's not like an illness related thing. Like, if it's, I just woke up and I've been getting all these job rejection emails and I need to go do something fun so that I don't have to just sit with that rejection all day.
Yeah.
That's so proactive, Pisha.
You need to hang out with Abby. You guys are going to have fun.
Can you please give me her number?
You guys are so alike. It's going to be the best.
Yeah, it's been like you both present as just like a very like normal, straight-laced person, but you're both like kooky. And I think you two would have a great time hanging out.
Wait, what does kooky mean in this context?
You guys both have like a weird sense of humor.
Yeah,
that
could laugh at things.
It's like, if you're with like a normal group of people and you made that joke, they would all look at you like weird, you know?
Yeah.
But together, I think it's really funny.
The dark humor is
at its peak. Not even like a dirty joke, but just like something that's just so profoundly silly, and like, yeah, the two of you would.
That's like half of my group, half of my friends right now. Like, I'm just making these weird jokes all the time, and they just like
smiling.
Give me a smile. I'm funny. Laugh at me, please.
Oh my god, going back to like meeting people as an adult in a romantic sense, like if they laugh at my jokes, I feel so validated. Just like,
I feel like men usually laugh at the jokes, even if they don't think they're funny, just to, you know,
get laid.
Yep.
There's an end goal established, guys.
I have yet to go on a date with someone who's truly funny. That I like. That's truly funny. I think that's what's missing. But I'm not dating anymore, so we'll never find out.
Yep, that's fine. It's okay. It's bleak out there.
And are you dating, Misha?
Yeah.
Do you have?
It's the same one for the past 3 years.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I was like, is she with the same fella? Like,
Yeah.
I was about to break some news to us just then. I was scared.
Oh yes, I has children. Oh, that would be amazing.
How is that? How's that going?
It's rocky. I mean, full disclosure is like, I'm kind of done being a girlfriend in terms of like auditioning to be something more, you know? Like I'm feeling like I'm at the point where I don't want to do this dating thing anymore. I want to just have like family.
Got it.
And I've made that opinion clear. So just after that conversation, it's just felt like waiting, which is not a great mental space to be in, because I'm also like putting a lot of pressure on the other person to do something about it.
How old is he?
Same age. We're all the same age. Same year.
do you feel like you put an expectation on it, like kind of with that conversation, like, and like perhaps that you were trying to, like, that was part of your plan, but now then you're like trapped in that expectation waiting.
Okay, here's
liminal.
the other problem, right? Like growing up, I didn't want this. I never wanted marriage, so like I didn't even want kids. And then now it's more of, well, I don't want to regret it later. And that's like not a good enough reason. But at the same time, I do feel like this would be the person if I ever were to do something about it. So like it for me, I'm in this weird pivot in my life where if I'm going to do something about it, it's going to be with this person. But suddenly I feel so much pressure from external media and like family being like, okay, well, sooner is better, because if you do decide to have children biologically, it needs to happen in the next few years. So like, yeah, I don't even know that I want it for those reasons. I just want to know that this is my person and I want to come home. And I still do believe in marriage as an institution. I just don't know that I want to have like a wedding. I want to just be married. Does that make sense? Like,
It's better.
I don't even want to throw the party for all the
I don't know if
people.
you remember our shared wedding experience. But,
I wasn't sure if that was like not allowed to talk about, so I didn't bring it up.
It's all cracked down.
it's a topic non gratis.
I was like, there are topics that are like, please do not touch, and I think that was one.
I was looking for photos of Amy to like post for her birthday, and came upon some very formal photos. You know, one of me next to some bald white boy walking down the aisle. I was like, I have no idea who this fucker is.
The best part of this is like my mom was there, and my mom is so brown, so she's just like, after the whole event, she's like, she looked so beautiful, and then there was that guy there. I'm like, Mom, it's not
So
a Bollywood movie. They weren't
so
cast.
True, though.
So true.
No, but that's so true to the reality. Amy was so beautiful, and he was just there.
The next person I'm gonna date is gonna be Bill Hader.
Oh my God, he's so lovely.
Rachel Bilson found that how lovely. There's a news post. Beach was like,
I'm sorry, I'm like 3 years before where you guys are.
Tell her.
A news article just came out where it was like Rachel Bilson never experienced an orgasm until, age 38 or whatever. And then, internet sleuths doing so she's like 41 years old right now, and she started dating Bill Hader like 3 years ago, and everybody's like, oh, so her ex is dead in the middle of the street. Bill Hader holding it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's a pretty lady.
Amy, you and this is even before like you were really like in touch with. Oh, she's sharing her screen. What's going on?
I know what is going on. Oh my God. I love that. I love that.
There he is.
Oh my God, he looks
Look at
so
him.
romantic.
Legend. With a crow.
With the crow.
You, Amy, look like Sarah Paulson. You remind me of Sarah Paulson. And all the more, that's why I think you'll end up with like a cute wife.
only because of the cottage core.
Em wants me to date women. Em wants me to date women.
She's so wildly dissatisfied with men.
I don't think
so.
Well, I'll try, but like, I don't think it's gonna work either. I don't know.
But from hearing women date women in my life, I've heard that that's how they go into most of their relationships. They just go into it thinking like, I'm gonna try, but it's probably not gonna work out. I don't know. Maybe in Toronto, the community of people who prefer women is very small, so they all know each other.
Isn't Toronto like a pretty like progressive community?
It's progressive, yes, but they all know each other.
Got it.
So everyone's ex. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't help. And they have these events where you go, and like specific bars and stuff, right? So like, by the time you introduce yourself on the scene, you've already dated like 8 people. So I hear, I should say. But I always thought Aimee would make a cute wife because of all the cottagecore shit that you pin on Pinterest and like.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Visha, my hair was blonde for 4 years, and I found that it attracted the wrong sort of person, kind of like a certain color animal in the wild. So I dyed my hair back brown in the hopes that it will deter certain kinds of people from hitting on me.
How's that going?
It's better.
Okay, that's good.
Significantly, yes.
That's actually, I don't know if there's enough time to get into that today, but I noticed that, like, if I tried too hard, this is so vain, but if I tried too hard by, like, putting on makeup and wearing more fitted clothing, I would attract the wrong type of attention from the other gender. So I just felt like I didn't want that, and I was in a place in my life where I was too busy to receive that, and I didn't want to receive it, and I didn't want to even deal with it, like, after the fact, where people text you, like, oh, this person's checking you out. So, like, I stopped. I completely went into, like, sweatshirt mode at some point in university where I was just, I don't want to have these conversations anymore.
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
And I did dye my hair brown, too. So, like, here we go. Maybe it will work out. We'll see. Oh my god, you guys, something hilarious happened. So my brother and I were walking to Day Creek, like the park over by our high school. Mm-hmm. And it was around the time that our high school lets out, and there were so like our high school is very rich, everyone has their own car that they drive. So they were a group of guys driving through in the opposite direction that I and my brother were walking. And they roll down the window and they go, "Damn girl, you fine." And I was just like, in sweats, looking pretty terrible, and it was so nice that high school boys told me that I was a fine woman. And the great part of it was my brother, he just looks over and he's like, keep driving. Like, this is so awkward for me. Like, please. Like, she's like 30. Like, get out of here.
That's so funny.
It was hilarious. I told my mom, and my mom was like, oh my god, like, we left India so you wouldn't have to deal with that. And I was like, no, it's not that serious.
Yeah, no, I get catcalled all the time. And it does not matter what I'm wearing.
No.
Aimee has seen it. People will stop. Like you say, people driving down the street, like, it'll be a busy street, and they will fully slow down and yell things at me from across the street. And I'm like, I'm not even dressed up tonight. There's nothing wrong with being adored and admired.
There isn't.
You just have to decide what to do about it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything about it. But I think that a lot of people, especially women, feel an obligation to offer some sort of response or resolution to being adored. And I don't think that they should have to. I think that plenty of times in life, we all have crushes and unreciprocated crushes. And if someone wants to adore you, you can be like, yeah, you're right. I am wonderful. I don't have to say anything back about you. I don't have to feel bad about the fact that I was out here looking good in front of you. Yep, you're right.
Em reminds me about that often because I get scared of people getting crushes on me.
You don't know them shit.
I have that problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, they like me. The world is over. I was like, doesn't fucking matter. Be hot.
Can we just end on that note? I was gonna, like, thank you so much, guys, for coming. And the theme of today's podcast is be hot.
Just be hot.
Hot. Yeah. Don't forget it.
Team high five. Boop. Boop. That turned into like a All right, I'm gonna stop.